everybody, this is Brad from Lucky 7 Racing and Cars, Coffee, and Donuts here in Southern California, the Cars and Coffee meet that happens once a month throughout different locations in San Diego and now in Temecula. And this is a 2018 Corvette Z06. Now, this just isn't any Corvette Z06. This is actually one of 100 that are being offered by Hertz Rental Car as a special promotion over the next few months. And I've actually gotten a hold of this vehicle and I've been able to drive it over the last few days. And I've really been able to get a chance to try it in different situations, commuting, driving down the freeway. I'm currently on one of the back roads here in San Diego enjoying the handling of the vehicle, the acceleration, and its abilities. And I've actually been able to really get in tune with what this vehicle can do and its capabilities. And I'm pretty impressed, I have to say, because it does take a lot to impress me. I've driven a lot of race cars, I've driven a lot of different cars on the street. This is a driver's car. It's definitely designed so that you can take it to a track day, really enjoy it in that aspect, take it on a canyon run with your buddies, or on a nice Sunday drive like I'm doing right now. Or, like I said, if you just want to go to work with it, if you have to sit in traffic, you can handle sitting in Southern California traffic, which we definitely have that here in San Diego. Or if you're just cruising down the freeway at a nice mellow, 70, 75 mile an hour, the vehicle drives very smoothly in that regard. But when you want to make use of the 650 horsepower and the 650 foot-pounds of torque, all you have to do is put your foot down and you feel every bit of it very quickly. Now, from a dead stop, it does have some traction disability. Because of the low profile tires on it, it's really designed for road racing, track days. It's not really designed for standing starts and just jumping it off the line as if you're at a drag strip. Now, the magazines say that this car will probably do in about 1190 with the right tires, the right driver, ideal conditions. You can definitely feel it. It does have the ability to get up and go very quickly if you need it to. And I've been able to test that a couple of times, and I can attest to it that it will get up and go when you need it to. I've been driving the car around in essentially track mode over the last about 3 days here, and it's really smooth for being in that mode. It's not a real rough ride. It actually is comfortable, surprisingly enough. The magnetic suspension that's on this, that's offered exclusively to this vehicle, really does help with the ride quality and the handling if you were to just drive it down the road easily. Or when you want to really push it through the corners, it gives you that driver response and that vehicle response to your inputs, and you can really feel the road or feel the track or wherever you may be. Now, Hertz specifically only gives you about 75 miles a day on this car, which kind of limits you a little bit as far as where you can go. But thankfully, they do have or offer, 25 cents extra per mile over that you go. And I'm a little bit over that mileage from the past 3 days, but I don't mind it. It's definitely worth it. As I said, this here is a driver's car. It's really designed for someone that wants to get out and drive. If you happen to be commuting with it, it can do that too, but it's really meant to get out, enjoy the curves of the road, enjoy a back canyon drive, enjoying some of the Southern California roads that we have out here, especially here in San Diego, where I currently am. And you can really just enjoy the vehicle for what it is. The exhaust note of this vehicle is really specific, and it actually has a few modes that you can adjust through the vehicle's onboard system. You can put it in a stealth mode that makes it very quiet, which is nice because when you're coming into a neighborhood, you can actually dial it down. The vehicle's really quiet. You can stick it in sport mode, or you can put it in full track mode, where I've kept it. It pretty much opens up the exhaust baffles fully, and you hear that American V8 sound that makes this such an iconic muscle car. Really makes for a fun sound. You're going past people, or you're go underneath a freeway underpass and you just happen to step on it, you really do hear the American in this vehicle, and that it's a muscle car, and that's what it's designed to be. And the guys at GM and Chevy have really done a great job at giving you that option. Now, I currently have it in manual mode, which allows me to use the paddle shifters, and I can shift up and down as I go. It does have a standard drive mode, which you can just leave it in and drive and cruise along. Being a driver, being someone who enjoys race cars and being able to shift, I leave it in the manual mode, I shift with it, I have a good time. I do knock Hertz a little bit on this. This is the 8-speed automatic, which going down a freeway is great for commuting, a little bit of fuel mileage. I'm a car guy, I want something with a clutch, I want to be able to shift gears. That's just how I am. Other people out there may not feel the same way, but if you're a purist and you want to really feel the road, I really prefer a clutch car. The 8-speed automatic does have a little bit of getting used to. Going down the freeway, normally my day car is a 6-speed, and I'm used to, you know, sticking it in gear and being on the clutch, whereas with this, you're kind of clicking on the paddles quite a bit to get it up to 8th gear and get it rolling down the road. And like I said, it is a very smooth, comfortable ride when you're just cruising along and enjoying yourself. Some of the specialties of this car from Hertz is that it is one of 100. This is actually car number 10. It has a placard here on the center console that tells me what vehicle it is. And eventually Hertz is going to take these cars and they're going to offer them at auction. They're probably going to sell them through other private options. I'm not too sure. I've tried to do some of the research on to find where they may end up, because I have been enjoying this car a little bit. And I'd be curious to see where it ends up, if it stays here in Southern California, if it ends up going to a collector. So if you want to take the chance to get a hold of one of these cars, there's actually 5 of these in San Diego. They're offered in a lot of the major markets and the major cities. If you go on Hertz's automotive website and do their rental program, you can find the vehicle. I actually kind of stumbled across it by accident. I was originally looking for the Shelby Mustang, hoping that I could get one for this weekend to tool around town, have a little fun. But unfortunately, they no longer offered it. So I saw the Corvette and said, well, you know, it's a Corvette. Let's drive that. That's a little bit more cooler than a Mustang to me, because there are a lot of Mustangs on the road here in Southern California. They're another iconic type car. This is definitely a primo car here. Something that's well worth spending a little bit of money, having for the weekend and enjoying, you know, where you get to go, driving it around town. The styling in the vehicle is very unique. As you see around me, black leather interior, the diamond pattern on the roof here, which this is a removable top. I haven't taken it off yet to really try it out, but on a nice sunny day like it is today here in San Diego, you can take the top off, cruise down the coast, and enjoy yourself. Now, I've got the windows up. It's pretty quiet of a ride going down the road. You really don't hear much road noise. You can hear the exhaust a little bit out of the vehicle. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear it, and it makes for a great sound when you're going down the road. It's got a pretty good stereo in it as well. You actually have XM satellite radio offered through the vehicle. There's a full onboard display here. There's a heads-up display which gives me RPM, G's through the corner, what gear I'm in, my mile an hour, and then I also have it here on the dash with the standard display. I mean, it's a very comfortable ride as well, as I've said. I'm 6'2", about 200 pounds. Those of you that have ever seen me, you know how tall I am. I'm fitting pretty comfortably in the car. I'm not real tight in it like some sports cars have been that I've sat in. A number of Porsches that I've driven. I've driven a Lamborghini Huracan, which I actually fit pretty decently in that as well. For being a taller person, I fit pretty decently, which is nice because I'm able to drive the car comfortably. The seat does move back and forth quite well. The steering wheel can be moved up and down to adjust for driver size and height. The seats are actually a competition seat. This is an aftermarket option from GM, and they're quite comfortable. You can actually put a 5-point harness through it if you were to have one. It does fit that with the way the seats are designed here. And of course, the steering wheel is at a comfortable length. I mean, I'm not having to reach real far. I'm kind of one of those guys that has long legs and short arms, so I sometimes have to kind of reach for steering wheels on certain vehicles that I've driven, the way that they're set up. But it does make for a comfortable ride. The ease of being able to shift the paddles is simple, just a simple click up or down. Left side is downshift, right side is upshift. Pretty easy to go. The dash also has a carbon fiber inlay on it, which looks really good. Really clean looking ergonomically. GM did a really good job working with Hertz in that regard. And of course the vehicle is a yellow. I don't think it's the GM yellow that they use on certain Corvettes. It looks a little different than that yellow specifically. I have to research a little bit more what color that was to really see if that's what it was or not. It has black racing stripes on it. It definitely stands out as you're going down the road. One thing that I noticed that's really interesting about the livery on the vehicle is that it doesn't have a front splitter. Now the Grand Sport on the C7 doesn't have a front splitter as well, but this being a Z06, you would think the front splitter would be on it. I don't know if Hertz did that specifically to make it unique to them, or if they took the front splitter off so that people that may not be used to a vehicle like this, as they're parking it, they don't accidentally hit one of the concrete curbs as they're pulling in, because you do sit somewhat low. You've got a good range of view to what's on the road, but it's not something that, you know, you would necessarily be used to if you've never driven a car like this. So that changes a little bit of the aspect of your view versus what you're doing. The braking in this car has been very good. It's got great strong brakes on it. When I've had to slow down from a certain speed and downshift, it does it pretty quick. It's got good sized brakes. And of course it has 19-inch front rims or front wheels, 20-inch rear wheels, and of course Michelin Pilot tires all the way around. It gives great grip for going down the road. I have read that if you push these tires a little bit, you get them a little hot, you lose a little bit of that grip. So you have to watch it when you're going down the road, going around certain corners, so many laps if you're at a track day, what these tires do. They do need some cool off time in between, from what I've read. I've pushed it a little bit through some corners. I've found where the grip is on this vehicle, where the good braking zone is. You hit the right marks and you downshift right and you brake right. You pick your corner and follow through and accelerate, and the vehicle definitely does what you want it to do. You can really almost point this car into a corner and it'll do what you want it to do from a driving standpoint, and being able to control the car under performance driving situations or spirited driving situations, depending on what you're doing. The Z06 is actually a very unique chassis. It was introduced in 1963, I believe, with the C2, and it was carried up through the C3 chassis because the guys at GM wanted to offer customers a Corvette that had a little bit more to it, a little bit more suspension, a little bit more of a braking package, so you could go and enjoy a track day or an SCCA type event, an autocross type event at the time. They actually discontinued offering the Z06 platform with the C4. It's actually a model that my father had. He had a 1989, and that came with your standard L98 V8, made about 260 horse. Whereas this has the LT4 supercharged engine, and you get about 650 horse and 650 foot-pounds of torque. Like I said before, you definitely know it when you step on it because that power is pretty instant when it comes under boost. But the vehicle in itself handles really, really well with the Z06 platform. GM decided to bring this Z06 platform back out with the C5, and of course that is what led up to the vehicle here, as they learned through the Corvette racing program and the guys there at the factory with Chevy what the vehicle needed to be able to perform better. They did quite a lot of testing with Nuremberg. Of course, they raced at the 24-hour Daytona, 24 hours of Le Mans, 12 hours of Sebring, and they've been quite successful against Porsche, Ferrari, and some of the other brands out there. And it's really made for a strong name for themselves in the automotive world through that. And of course, we're able to benefit through the newer models as far as what the vehicles can do with, as far as handling, acceleration, your braking, the way they shift. It really has come up to where the technology in this vehicle is just awesome. And it's something that if you get the chance to really drive it, do it, because you'll probably get a chance to do something that not everyone will be able to really experience. Even for the Mustang guys and the Dodge Charger guys out there, the Challenger guys, me personally, I really like the Challenger. To me, it looks like a true muscle car, but it's really more like the pony cars with the Camaro and the Mustang. You just can't compare them to this type of a vehicle with the engine package, the driveline, the suspension. It's a completely different animal with the way that it's to be driven and what it's really designed for from a driver standpoint and a racing standpoint. And those cars, of course, over the years have become quite iconic vehicles in themselves. I know there's a lot of fans out there of that vehicle. So for those of you that think that I'm a little biased here, trust me, I'm not, because I do enjoy those vehicles as well. This is just a lighter, basically race car for the street. And it's definitely something where you can utilize every aspect of what that is easily just going down the road. It makes for a lot of fun. Alright guys, so the end of my video apparently didn't record. So things look a little bit different because I'm out here today. It's about a week later, and I'm out there at Auto Club Speedway here in Fontana, California, and I'm sitting in another 2018 Corvette Z06 that is a specialty car from Hertz. Now, I took a friend of mine for a ride last week in the one I rented, and he liked it so much, he went out and rented one himself. So he's out here this weekend. He's probably walking around behind me putting numbers on the car, and he's out here for a legitimate track day, and he's going to go get some laps in. So I didn't get a chance to really end my video the right way, so I'm ending it with this. Really enjoyed the car. It drove great. I had it for about 4 days. Like I said, got a chance to really try it in a lot of different aspects of what the car can do, its abilities on the road. Didn't get to do a track day like my buddy's about to go do here and really see what it can do on track situation, but it was definitely a lot of fun. So for those of you that want to try the vehicle out yourself, you can rent them through Hertz. If you go right to their website, just hertz.com, you'll find the vehicles there. It's part of their adrenaline package that they offer for a few different vehicles, and it's only available through December from what I understand from what their website says. I think they're about $225 a day. There is a 75-mile cap on the mileage per day that you get, and they do have a little bit of a penalty if you go a little bit over that, but it's not bad. I think it's only 25 cents per mile. So it's worth checking out if you guys really are looking for a vehicle to go drive, take for a day, take for a weekend. It's worth trying out here in Southern California. So if you guys like the video, of course, comment below. This is my first time ever doing one of these, and I may do some more here in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens between now and as next race season comes up, because I'm at kind of the end of the year for race season for me, and we're just going to see what happens. So like I said, leave a comment below if you guys like what you saw. If you didn't like what you saw, leave a comment below anyway, and I'll see you guys on the next one.